There are two problem sets on quick solids. Each has 20 plus models in it that we're asking you to model for us. Now, because there are more than one part in this exercise, you're going to have a naming convention that includes the particular part here, as you can see, -01, -02, and -03. At this point in the class, you have not learned how to do holes or fillets, just pads and pockets and geometric constraints. So that's all the tools we want you to use. All of these can be modeled with just those tools. What we want you to start learning to do is to look at a model and think through how you would build it. Pretty soon this will become second nature, and most of these parts can actually be drawn very, very quickly. Let's take a look at how we would model, say, the first one or two of these parts. Let's take this problem number 1 at the top here. Okay, let's bring Catia over, and let's do a file new, and we'll do a new part. And I'm actually going to skip the naming process right now and just get right into it. And let's see what we got. Okay, we need to make a little shape here, so let's go to Sketcher. Let's sketch on this plane. And let's use our profile tool. Now, I'm going to turn off my dimensional constraints. I don't need them to be made, but I like my geometric constraints. So I am going to profile 1, 2, 3, and notice my V's and H's. Those are geometric constraints, and they're being created as I'm doing my profile. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to have the same general shape of what I'm trying to make. And then I'm going to make a pad. And again, we don't need exact dimensions. I'm just going to drag it out and say OK. Now, what I need to do is make a little pocket in here. So I'm going to go to Sketcher, and I'm going to sketch on that same bottom sketch plane. And I'm going to make a little pocket. And I'm kind of intentionally going to make it in the wrong spot here. Let's get out of Sketcher. Let's make a pocket. Now let's reverse direction and make it go up to last and say OK. Now it looks like, well, it's not perfectly in position. Well, let's just double click that sketch again, that pocket again, and let's look at the sketch, and let's just move it a little bit over so that it's, there you go, just about right there. I'm not even worried about all this overlap. There you go. And say OK. Now that's looking more like what we need. And now all I need to do is put a couple of circular pockets in, one over here. And you know what? I'm going to do them both in the same sketch. And get out of here, do a pocket, and again we'll do up to last and say OK. That's close enough. You've shown that you know how to do the modeling techniques. Let's close that model, and let's take a look at the next one. How about doing number 3? That'll be a good one to do. So let's jump in here. Let's go to File, New, Part, and again I'll skip the naming and just jump right into it. And I'm going to go to Sketcher, and the first thing I'm going to do is to sketch a rectangle. Okay, and you'll notice that it has a elliptical pocket, elongated hole pocket, and it's got some rounded corners. So let's put those in this also. So let's do a little corner icon, and let's make a corner in here. Let's do another corner icon, make a corner here. And then let's do the elongated hole, and let's do it right down the axis. Okay, and then I'll pick my little trimming icon, my eraser. I love my little eraser. I double-clicked it, and then I can just start erasing. Okay, so that's a pretty nice little profile. And I'll make a little pad, and that's high enough there. Now what we'd like to do is add this little piece on the back side here. So let's come up, and let's go to Sketcher, and I'm rotate around a little bit, and let's sketch on this back plane. Okay, and let's draw something that looks like this. This is the basic shape. Okay. Now, this is really supposed to be matched up perfectly here, but I'm leaving it intentionally a little to the side. It makes it a little bit easier when I put on my geometric constraint. I'm going to select my constraint icon, pick both of those edges, right-click and say coincidence. I'll do it again over here. Right-click and coincidence. And I'm just going to leave this floating for now. We'll show you something about that in a bit. I'm going to pop out here and I'm going to make a pad in reverse direction. There you go. And we're done. However, one thing I will point out to you, let me double click this pad here and let me make it smaller. I'm going to make it 5 instead of 20 millimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to, it looks like my model needs a little update, so I'll pull out my update icon and hit update. Look what happened here. So I'm going to go back into the sketch for this second pad we made. I hit the reframe button here. And one of the things you may want to consider is if I had constrained this all the way to the bottom, that little gap would not have happened. So I'm going to hit the dimensional constraint, do this, right click, coincidence. And now when we get out of Sketcher and say OK, it doesn't matter what size this bottom pad is, whether it's 20 or 5, everything still looks nice. Okay. Now, certainly you didn't have to do that last little step. Now, as part of our saving procedures, we would want the part number to be the same as the file name. We would also hide all of our planes. And, of course, we select the part body and make our part body blue. And now this part is ready to save and turn in. Okay. And so that's the modeling techniques we would like you to use on all of these little quick solids.